In the previous video, we just completed some basic challenges related to JS fundamentals. So today in this video, we are going to complete the remaining challenges related to JS fundamentals and some problems related to JS DOM as well. So without wasting any time, let's dive into the video. Here comes the first challenge that says like write a function that takes a number as an argument. If the number is even, return true, otherwise return false. So we are having one function. My function takes an argument a as a number. We are going to return if it's an even or not. So that's a very simple thing. Let's say a modulus 2 strict equality sign 0. That's one line statement that you can use. You can even use if else statement. That's going to take a lot of time, but you can just use it like a modulus 2. And what does the modulus do? It just check if one number is divided by another number, is the remainder equal to 0 or not. So if that's equal to 0 means that's equal to true, and if it is true, then we are going to say that yeah, it's an even number because it's exactly divisible by 2. Run the code. Yeah, it's working. Let's go to the next one. And the next is check how many times does the character occur. Okay, so we are having like m, how many times does the character occur in the sentence. So what we can do here, we can just split this sentence into an array, and in that array we can just check how many times the element m occurs. So we are having one simple function that says split function. So we are going to just say b is what? B is the second parameter of the sentence, right? So b dot split, we are going to in the split function takes one separator, so we are going to pass a as a separator, and that's going to convert this into an array form, and we are going to say dot length -1. That's going to give the number of occurrences of a in m. So let's go ahead and let's run the code. That's working. Let's go to the next one, and that says check if a number is whole number or not. So for this, we can use one if else condition, and that starts with first for a whole number, we need to check is it greater or equal to 0 or not. So if it's greater or it's equal to 0, it's a whole number. First thing. So let's say if it is greater or equal to 0. Second thing, it says that has no decimal places, so we need to check that as well. So we can just say number dot is integer dot is integer a, this thing, or we can say like math dot floor a equal to a. So this is the second thing. I think this is not required, so let's remove this thing here in the condition, and let's go back and say like if that's so, let's say return true, else return false. That's it. So that's the condition. Let's run the code, and yeah, that's working. We can do it in a simpler ways where like a minus math.floor a equal to 0 or strict equality. Let's go on to the next one and says multiplication, division, and comparison operators. Let's go here, and it says like write a function that takes two numbers a and b as an argument. If a is smaller than b, divide a by b. Otherwise, multiply both the numbers, return the resulting value. So we can just say here something like we can use one if else condition. If let's say if a is smaller than b, means if a is smaller than b, we are going to just say return a divided by b, a divided by b, else we are going to just say return a into b, and that's it. So this is a simple thing. Let's run the code. Yeah, it's working. Or you can do it like a smaller than b, this sign, question mark sign, divided by b, else a into b. Now let's go on to the next one. Round a number to two decimal places. So here we are like 2.12397, 2.12313, 3.136, 3.14. For doing that, we are having one function, round function. So we can just say like math dot round a, and we need to just round it to the two decimal places. Means we need to multiply it by 100 to get that means at last the two decimal places, and the rest of the part we are going to round off. So we are going to say a into 100 to get that number of places, and the total result that we are going to get, we are going to just divide that whole by 10, not 10 by 100. Let's run the code, and yeah. And one more way is that we can use the number here, number a.to fixed 2. Yeah, that's the same thing. Let's go to the next one. Split a number into its digits. So 10, 1 comma 0, 9 3 1, 9 comma 3 comma 1. So here we need to just split this number at a function that takes a number a as an argument, split a into its individual digits and return them in an array. Tip: you might want to change the type of a number for splitting. Might want to change the type of the number for splitting. So here, the question want to say like tip, you might want to change the type of the number for splitting. So we have a split function that we can perform to convert any kind of string into an array, but the condition is that we need to have a string, not a number. So what we can do here, we can just say string, and we can use the string to convert the number into a string format. Then we can just use the split function to split it into an array, and after that we can just map it. And why we need to map it, let me just tell you. So first what we are doing, we are just changing all the means all the digits, or you can say the whole number into a string. Then we are splitting it into an array, and then we are mapping the arrays. Why we are mapping the arrays? Because we want not the text formatted arrays, we want to change each and every element of the array into a number back. So we are just converting the numbers into a string, then converting into arrays, and then we are taking the each and every element of that array and then convert it into back to the number. So we are just doing that thing by using string a dot split dot map number. Let's run the code, and yeah, that's working. So now comes the one of the JSDOM question. Select the button element on the page. So here's a question. In this scenario, the existing code adds an event listener for a click event on a variable button element. It expects button element to be a button element in the example UI, but that element is not clicked yet. Assign the button element to a variable button element. Click the button to verify that the code is working. Hint: make use of unique ID of the button element. So here's a very straightforward question asked, and it says to assign a variable button element, and we need to just use the query selectors, or you can even use like document.get element by ID function to do this task. So similarly, you can select button element dot add event listener click. If someone clicks on this, it's like a toggle, like off on off, and that's that. So for that, for selecting anything, they're giving us the tip like make use of unique ID of the button element. So we are having the ID button. So we can just say like document dot get element by ID, and we are going to pass the ID that's given as button. So let's save. Okay, no need to save that. Let's click on, and yeah, that's working. Let's continue on the next one. So the next one is query descendant HTML elements. So here's the existing code expects the variable button element and input element to represent the button and input elements in the example UI. Assign the respective elements to the variable in case two elements do not have unique identifiers, like for an example an ID. Instead, they are direct descendants of a div element with ID. Wrapper use an appropriate selector method. Click the mouse to verify that the code is working or not. So now they are like saying old text is equal to input element dot text, and here is okay. So we have read only, right? So off click me, and we are going to just change that. is equal to old text. Okay, so we need to just take both of these elements like query descendant. We need to just use the query selector at this point. So we can just say like document dot query selector, and we can just say dot button. No, not button, dot button. No. Let's say button only. Like document dot query selector button. That's going to give the first element with the tag name of button. And similarly for the input box, we can just say document dot query selector input. And yeah, that's it. Let's go here and click on click me. Are you sure? Try again now. So we are having query selector button. So we are just taking the button element here, assign the correct. So the question is saying like query descendant HTML elements. Okay. To represent the button, assign the respective elements to the variables in case two elements do not have unique identifiers. For example, an ID. Instead, they are having direct descendants of a div element with the ID wrapper. Write an appropriate selector method. Okay. For doing this question, we need to just use the query selector only, but in a different way. Let me show you how. So you need to just say like document dot query selector, and at this point we need to pass not the tag name, but here mentioned like we are having a div element with the ID of wrapper, so we need to use that thing only. So let's wrapper, and yeah, that's it. And with the wrapper, because we are taking the buttons, we need to say like button, and after that let's say the similarly we are going to just copy and paste the things. Let's copy this and just paste it here, and in the wrapper we are having the input. So let's click on click me, and yeah, that's working. Let's continue. So here select multiple HTML elements. Now we are having like const and okay, so let's read the question first. In this scenario, we are looking for a list of elements gathered in one variable rather than only one element. Assign the list items in the view of a variable list items for by an appropriate selector method. Once you have completed the code, verify it by hovering over the list items until all the items have the value on. So list items correct elements to the variables. Assign the correct elements to the variables. Okay. So handle over, and they are running a callback function return event dot target or inner text to be equal to yeah on handle over, and if list items dot length is greater than 1, certain dot for each item add event list mouse over handle over. So we need to take all of these items. So the very easier way is to use query selector all. So let's say dot query selector query selector. So query selector all, I think so. Query selector all, and we can use query selector all li. I think so. Let's go here on and on. So yeah, that's the correct solution to this question. So yeah, that's all for this video. Meet you in the next video with some new build and technology. Till then, see you.